former UFC champ Miesha Tate. Miesha, your name Miesha, does it have any meaning or are you named after someone?
So my name, it doesn't have any traditional meaning, but it was a nickname of my mother's. So my mother's name is Michelle, and when she was in high school, I guess there was like 5 other Michelles in her class, so they all kind of had different nicknames for each other, and hers was Miesha.
Now, Miesha, you're involved in a new project. Tell us about One Championship.
Well, One Championship is a great company that I'm so excited to begin working with. I'm on a press tour currently. It actually begins today and ends on Thursday. One Championship is, well, let's see, what else do I want to say about it? There's so much to say. You know, they have 110 world championships 110 world champions on their roster, which I think is incredible. It's more than any other organization, and I think it speaks volumes to the fact that, you know, One Championship has a different vision in mind, and it truly matters about being the best athlete that you can be and setting a prime example of being the best person that you can be, which I also think is a really important message for our youth to pass along. So I appreciate everything that One Championship encompasses, and, you know, for me it embodies exactly what the kind of company that I would want to represent.
What is your role with them?
I'm the vice president of One Championship.
So what things will you be responsible for?
So I will be responsible for commentating every other week. So I'll be at every other show. And beyond that, there's so many things that I think I will be able to take part in. Part of it will be athlete development. I'll be coaching at the Evolve team about 4 days a week. And I will also be responsible for recruiting a little bit of talent. And I think I will be able to head some of the charity efforts that we're really looking to kick off this year. I'm moving in about a month now. I'll be in Singapore, and I think we'll really be able to finalize everything that I'll be a part of moving forward once I'm there. But that's kind of the general landscape that I'm looking at. But realistically, the opportunities are limitless. Possibly even doing my own reality show as well as Rich Frank. That's what Rich Franklin is doing right now. He was a part of the UFC, and then he has been working with One Championship for quite some time, and really verbatim living his best life is what he says. So I'm looking forward to joining that.
Yeah, that's really cool because the big debut is going to be in Tokyo on March 31st. And Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, Eddie the Underground King Alvarez, Super Sig Norchka is also involved in this. And it just seems like it's really got some really incredible star power on it. And we'll be able to see some, I'm guessing we're going to be able to see some new talent as well, which is you're going to be involved with, as you said, scouting out talent, correct?
That's correct. Yes, so we are looking for the best athletes out there and good people. I love that about Chatri. When I asked him, he's the CEO and founder of One Championship, and just somebody that I really look up to, and somebody who, through time, I would aspire to be more and more like. And, his criteria is being a good person. That's like top criteria, which is something that most people in this industry would not necessarily care about. They would care about showmanship and if you have a rivalry with someone or how much trash talk you have, and then it comes down to like how good you are and if you're a good person. But for him, it's like it's a long-term vision, I think, to really change the mentality that martial arts is it's more of a purist idea, I suppose. That it's more of a purist mentality. And myself, I'm more of a purist. Sorry, my alarm's going off. More of a purist in heart as well, as far as martial arts goes. So I think having that criteria to pass along to the future generation about setting a good example, about being a role model, that's very important to One Championship. And I just love that whole message.
It's more about honor then than it is about the trash talking.
Absolutely. It's not there's not a motive for trash talking in one championship. There's more a motive about celebrating sportsmanship, because martial arts is a sport, and I think of all the sports, it's a bit more aggressive than, say, tennis and other things. So I believe it's more important that we display sportsmanship because of that factor. I think the balance of it is so important. I think it's really important for the minds of young children to understand that it is hand-to-hand combat, and it's the most raw and, in my opinion, beautiful form of competition. But it is exactly that. It's competition, and you don't have to hate the person standing across from you, and you don't have to be rude to them, and you don't have to disrespect them. As a matter of fact, you should appreciate that they trained as hard as they could to present the best version of themselves so that you can truly test your martial arts against another great martial artist and see, who can come out on top. And I think it's important that we celebrate sportsmanship throughout that.
Well, that's interesting, Miesha, because you've been involved with all the big MMA companies, and to see them grow, it seems like that trash talking, whether it was staged or real, has been part of that growth. Do you think it's just because that's what we're giving fans, or that's what fans wanted or want?
Well, I can say that throughout the Western Hemisphere, at least, rivalries have absolutely flourished. There's no denying that throughout history, that a good rivalry and trash talk, they really stand out, and they absolutely catch the attention of people. But here's the thing. I believe it's not as sustainable of a format, because when you have a rivalry, that's great. People are there for the moment, and they're invested in that moment. But I think they lose sight of what the sport is really about. And what it's really about at the end of the day, it should be about appreciating martial arts, about appreciating the skill set that these athletes have. And when you get caught on the trash talk and the rivalry of it, I think that people lose sight of exactly what's important. And therefore, when you don't have the rivalry and you don't have that, people are no longer interested. And I fear that's what we see going on now in a lot of the promotions in, let's just say, Northern America. If they don't have this brilliant storyline of, I wouldn't even call it brilliant, I would just say this highly dramatic storyline of a rivalry unfolding, or someone like Conor McGregor, who is a tremendous trash talker, then people don't care about the sport anymore. And you see a large drop-off anytime that those things are not involved in promoting a fight card, and it simply just doesn't work out in the long term. It's not the best way to do it for, I think, the longevity of the sport. And what I believe that Chatri and One Championship have in mind is a very long-term successful sport, and therefore they just want to build the idea and the foundation on something more sustainable, about the real love of martial arts and appreciating the athletes for the skill sets that they possess and the humble nature and their hardships, and really getting to know the athlete and appreciating the skill set that they provide.